Shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all praises to the Heavenly Father, Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Rachahakwadash. Double honors to the apostles, the elders at Great Millstone who rule well. Peace and salutations, as always, to the elect. And I wanted to get into this article here, as you can see, off of zerohedge.com, how your carbon footprint and your carbon wallet, okay, are really going to work in the dystopian world that the WEF has planned. All right. When you look up this term dystopian, okay, the meaning is what? It says relating to or denoting an imagined state or society where there is great suffering or injustice. Okay. You often hear this term, all right, for the future of how the elite want to govern the world. Okay. And we've been seeing them openly, talk of their plans and how they plan to get control of the mess they've created. Okay. And the major blame in this all is going to be humanity, human beings. Okay. Um, Animals, and everything else, as they're pushing to you this agenda. Okay. That the earth, the atmosphere of the earth is heating up. All right. Because of the emittance of CO2, all right, carbon dioxide, all right, and many other things, all right, in which human beings are, when you look it up, as a matter of fact, let me get this real quick. Um, I have this particular article, see here. All right, what is a carbon footprint? It says a carbon footprint is the total amount of greenhouse gases, including carbon dioxide, which, human beings give off or breathe out carbon dioxide. Okay. And from that point, all right, it's that carbon dioxide is used by, nature, trees, oceans, and many other things used to what? Produce oxygen, clean the air and do things that the Heavenly Father set them up to do. Okay. We'll get into all of that. It says these things are generated by our actions. Okay. The average carbon footprint for a person in the United States is 16 tons, one of the highest rates in the world. It says globally, the average carbon footprint is closer to 4 tons. All right. So they're telling you, you people here in America got too much freedom, or you eat too much, you travel too much, you're doing too much. It says to have the best chance of avoiding, all right, a 2 degree Celsius rise in global temperatures. I believe that's what that is. The average global carbon footprint per year needs to drop to under 2 by 2050. Okay. Lowering individual carbon footprints from 16 tons to 2 doesn't happen overnight. By making small changes to our actions, like eating less meat, taking fewer connecting flights, and drying our clothes, okay, drying our clothes, we can make a big difference. Okay, so the way that the earth is going to be helped and aided is by human beings having less actions, okay, eating less meat, okay, and meat not even being available, as you're hearing about how farmers are having to slaughter their cattle and not being able to produce cattle. And you're hearing about this new way of farming, all right, that they are going to have control over, all right, where everything will be tracked and produced, all right, and they're going to have particular things in their enzymes and their genetic makeup that are going to go hand in hand with this plan. Okay, so let's go back here real quick. As a matter of fact, let's look this one up too. All right, carbon emissions, 4 ways they are destroying our planet. You listen to the mindset of the devil. It says carbon emissions happen naturally. It's nature, all right, But the greenhouse gases that derive from human actions are the reason why emissions have increased so severely. So again, human beings are the blame, and the true blame of the way that this earth is currently, the state that it's currently in, is the leadership, the management. Okay, this man is wicked. You see, he's cutting down all of the trees, which the scriptures tell you the trees are the life of a man. Okay, he's put concrete everywhere. Okay, he's put toxins everywhere, and it was his first, second, and third industrial revolutions that has led to the most polluted earth possible. And now they're pushing this thing that, they want to cut off, cars that use these particular gases and, go to more of a, electric based car where they can track you. Well, they've had the ability to push these cars years ago. They've had this technology. Okay, so these devils are ultimately getting ready to use saving the world to ultimately enslave the world. Okay, but you can read a little bit more of this. Let's see. It says carbon emissions are created by the burning of fossil fuels such as coal. All right, which that was the driving force behind the first industrial revolution. Natural gas, waste, trees, and other biological materials. Although carbon emissions are created naturally in the form of forest fires, volcanoes, and other natural occurrences, humans are largely responsible for the massive increase in carbon emissions that are causing the greenhouse effect and harming our planet. So humans are being blamed. Now I have this video here real quick, and then we'll get into that article that I really wanted to get into, where you have, and they put it even in their Georgia Guidestones, how they wanted to get the human population down to a particular number. This all goes hand in hand. See if I can get it to pop up, because I have not really, I don't have the best service here, but let's see if I can get this to pop up. Here we go. Yeah, listen to this guy here.
Senior World Economic Forum advisor Yuval Noah Harari recently declared that the WEF considers the vast majority of the human population to be obsolete, useless, and redundant. Harari, who is Klaus Schwab's right-hand man, made the disturbing comments in an interview with Chris Anderson, head of the TED Media Group, echoing past predictions of a useless class of obsolete and unemployable humans. According to Harari, so-called common people are right to be fearful of a future in which they will be made redundant. The WEF advisor addressed the widespread anxiety among common people as being rooted in a fear of being left behind in a future run by smart people. Such fears are justified, according to Harari, who spoke on behalf of the elites and confirmed, "We just don't need the vast majority of you." Harari's extraordinary remarks serve as the strongest warning yet that Klaus Schwab's WEF is intent on depopulating the world. Let's listen to some key moments from the podcast now.
A lot of people sense that they are being left behind and left out of the story, even if their material conditions are still relatively good. In the 20th century, what was common to all the stories, the liberal, the fascist, the communist, is that the big heroes of the story were the common people. Not necessarily all people, but if you lived, say, in the Soviet Union in the 1930s, life was very grim. But when you looked at the propaganda posters on the walls that depicted the glorious future, you were there. You looked at the posters which showed steel workers and farmers in heroic poses. And it was obvious that this is the future. Now, when people look at the posters on the walls or listen to TED Talks, they hear a lot of, these big ideas and big words about machine learning and genetic engineering and blockchain and globalization, and they are not there. They are no longer part of the story of the future. And I think that again, this is an hypothesis. If I try to understand and to connect to the deep resentment of people in many places around the world, part of what might be going there is people realize, and they are correct in thinking that the future doesn't need me. You have all these smart people in California and in New York and in Beijing, and they are planning this amazing future with artificial intelligence and bioengineering and global connectivity and whatnot, and they don't need me. So maybe if they are nice, they will throw some crumbs my way, like universal basic income. But it's much worse psychologically to feel that you are useless than to feel that you are exploited.
Harari contrasted the 20th century with the 21st while forecasting what he said is the current century's diminishing need for human beings. According to his logic, common people have no right to exist unless they are in service of the elites. Harari said,
if you go back to the middle of the 20th century,
you see, and when you listen to what he's saying, and this guy likens, what they're trying to do into the next Noah's Ark, where only a certain amount of people are going to survive, for the benefit, of the plan that they have. And this greenhouse effect, global warming, everything we hear being pushed is a big part, all right, of them justifying themselves and what they're getting ready to do. You can also look up the Malthusian theory, all right, where there's not enough resources in the planet Earth to sustain all of the people. All right, so you're justified in plaguing and killing off mass amounts. And we can go back to this, but let's go to this article real quick. You can read, more on these things, but basically, as you can see, E is blaming human beings. Okay, so what they need to do with human beings is limit, all right, their CO2 emission limit, how they interact with the earth, where they can travel. All right, they're even setting up particular cities where, by 2050, all right, you'll just be limited to these, particular cities with, 20 feet walls, all right, thousands of feet long. Okay, and you won't have to leave out of that city. Everything you need will be into these particular cities. We also hear about smart cities. Okay, so let's read a little bit of this article. Okay. It says, let's read it again. It says, how your carbon footprint and your carbon wallet are really going to work in the dystopian world that the WEF has planned, the World Economic Forum. When you look at that logo, you can clearly see the 666. It says, it's not on here, but when you look up the WEF forum, you can see it. Okay. It says, let me introduce you to Barbara Barsma. Barbara is the CEO of Rabo Carbon Bank. Yes, you read it right. Not Rabo Bank, but Rabo Carbon Bank. All right. Because this is the future and it's all being set up right before your face. It says in this 53-second interview below, she is advocating for a personal carbon wallet. Okay, and this all goes hand in hand with what John the Revelator saw. All right, now he saw, it being used for the purpose of buying and selling. All right, but now that we're here on the planet Earth, all right, and we're able to see the plan being implemented, we're able to show you, all right, the depths of what they have planned, all right, on how they plan to massively enslave humanity, all right. But before that, there's going to be a culling, all right, because there's a lot of people that that ain't just they plan on not even being there and making it. This is why they're getting ready to justify often the people. This is why people are becoming what the issue, the problem. All right, and they're creating all of these situations and issues to where they're going to be justified in, taking particular kind of people out of the earth, canceling you, okay, offing you, all right, because you are in the way of their plan, okay. It says in this 53-second interview below, she is advocating for a personal carbon wallet. That may not seem like a big deal, but when you hear what she has to say, you should be concerned, very concerned. And it gives you that footprint. All right, they're going to track everything. Okay, and this is the new savior. This is the new salvation. All right, this is the fourth industrial revolution. All right, where now man will be linked with machine. All right, and the true problem with the planet Earth is capitalism again. The world rulers, how the world is ran, how everything is about profit. Okay, taking nature out of the way, and trying to create your own outcomes via technology, machinery, and everything else, which those things did have their benefit, but this devil took everything too far. Okay, and now the issue that stems, the problems that ultimately come from what he's done, all right, is getting ready to be blamed on the people. You see? And here's how they're gonna pretty much, fix everything. This is the plan. I transcribed the interview as it is in Dutch. It contains critical information. If you prefer to watch the video with subtitles, by all means, please do so. It says, let's ensure that every household or every citizen of the Netherlands receives a certain amount of carbon emission rights. You see that? You'll have particular rights, and we've been telling you, all right? And MasterCard is already setting up a deal to where this is going to be the next phase, all right? And you've seen your President Biden, all right, plan signing legislation for December the 13th, okay? The central bank digital currencies, all right, are ultimately going to be the new wave, just out of nowhere. See, with all of this chaos, all this confusion, they just pass these laws and legislations, and then they dip out, okay? And the people, you have a few people complaining and crying out, wait a minute, this is wrong, this is crazy, this is the plan. But the mass majority of the people are just, their minds are taken over, their souls are taken over by the mass amount of filth that is being produced via the media, social media, and everything else. Okay, there's literally a tower of Babel, a stronghold of confusion being used to subvert the souls of the people, but ultimately they're bringing a deeper plan. And here, this is a part of it right here. It says, let's ensure that every household, and real quick, this is what Paul warned of. This is a good, we'll start here real quick. As a matter of fact, let me just get the scripture I want. In the book of 2 Thessalonians chapter 2, all right, and 3, it says, let no man deceive you by any means, for that day shall not come, except there be a falling away first, and we fell away. And now what day is that? The day of the end. Because at this time, Paul's writing his letter, a lot of our people were in depression because they thought since the Messiah came on the scene, okay, that the kingdom was getting ready to be set up. Well, he's letting them know, look, the end ain't going to come in our time. Okay, there's going to have to be a major falling away, all right, in which we had no idea who we were. We were totally divorced, okay, because at that time, Jake knew that they were Israelites. You had the circumcision, but then you had the Gentiles coming in. But the Lord, as he said, concluded us all in unbelief so that in this time there can be a great awakening, okay, through the Holy Spirit, and we can come back. The hearts of the fathers will be turned back to the children, the hearts of the children to the father. Okay, going back to Elijah the prophet coming. Okay, it had to happen in this order. All right, and that has led to what? The prophets being raised up and Esau being exposed. Thus said the Holy Scriptures. Okay, it says there has to be a falling away first, and that the man of sin be revealed, the son of perdition. All right, the lawlessness man, who opposeth and exalteth himself above all that is called God, which that's what this system is, or that is worship, so that he as God. Now imagine a system to where they're able to set this up. He will be as God. All right. He will literally be able to give you a limit on your, your moving around in the planet Earth. He's going to give you a limit on what you can eat, how much you can eat, the quality of what you can eat, what you have access to. Okay. And again, people like us, they don't plan for us being in that system. All right. We're of that number of worthless humans that ultimately ain't going to make the cut. Remember, according to their own guidestones, they want to start over with, I believe, 500 million. Okay. And they're going through the starting grounds of getting rid of a lot of the people. That's why you see all of these things happening. That's why you see pollutants and toxins and plagues and, diseases just everywhere you look. All right. That's all a part of the plan. All right. This man is getting ready to lose his mind and come down with great wrath. That's why the Lord said, if those days weren't shortened, no flesh would be saved. All right. Who opposeth and exalted himself above all that is called God or that is worshipped, so that he as God sitteth in the temple of God, showing himself that he is God. All right. And he wants to sit in the temple. Okay. And that's the way that he's going to fulfill this plan, is by sitting in the temple. The temple is the body. Okay. He wants inside of the temple. All right. He's also in Jerusalem. Okay. Saying that we are the chosen people. All right. And that is the temple of the Most High as well. Okay. And he's gotten control of that land. Okay. Through what? Unrighteous decrees and wickedness. Okay. So he's opposing and exalting himself above all that is called God. When you're able to control food, when you're able to control resources, when you're able to control what people have access to and how they get things and the quality, you become God to that person. Okay. He's hoarding all of the resources to himself. Okay. So that he can be in the position of God. Okay. Just like in Egypt. All right. What did Pharaoh tell the people? Go to Joseph. All right. And do whatever he says to tell you to do, because Joseph had the food. So pretty much when you have all of the resources and control like that, okay, which they're systematically doing, they're just hoarding everything to themselves, while the people have less rights, less resources, less everything, because ultimately them having too much is really ruining the earth. Okay, then eventually you'll do whatever the hell they say do. And those who don't plan on doing whatever the hell they say do, they're already setting up legislation to cancel you. Okay? What do you think is happening with these red pill cats? Andrew Tate, Kevin Samuels, all right? They're systematically just being X'd out. Particular talking points are being X'd out if it's not in line with the world they want. And people are crying and clapping for these agendas. Pretty soon you won't be able to have an opinion. See, but if these same men who are being canceled and hated on and talked about put on dresses and went and read to children in elementary schools, telling them that drag is the way and how to be a drag queen, they would be uplifted and rewarded. See, we're looking at a society of absolute wickedness being set up, in a society that opposes order and the Most High himself and his only begotten Son. Okay, so he said that he's going to sit in the temple of God, showing himself that he is God. Okay, he wants inside of the temple, in particular of the Israelites. All people are going to be a target, all races, even Edomites themselves. But the major people that they have to get in control of in order for this plan to work is the Israelites. Okay, it says, let me jump down, verse 8. Okay, because they were already wiggling themselves for this position back in that time. Okay, that's why they call themselves the King of the Jews. Okay, the Herodian dynasty and all of that. They've been working to get in this position to where they can ultimately forge a birthright and say, we are the people. All right. And undermine the true narrative, undermine the Heavenly Father's true plan. And they think that they're going to be able to do that via their technology. And this plan right here, all right, is absolutely devious, man. It says, verse 8, Let me see. Verse 6, and now ye know what withholdeth, that he might be revealed in his time. Okay, now that we're awakening in these latter days, we see that the Lord withheld judgment from this devil because of this day. This all had to happen. Okay, for the mystery of iniquity doth already work, even back then. Okay, they were always trying to put themselves in position to get their birthright back. Only he who will let will let until he be taken out of the way. The Most High has allowed this devil to do what he's doing, okay? But he's getting ready to be taken out of the way. And then shall that wicked be revealed, whom the Lord shall consume with the spirit of his mouth, and shall destroy with the brightness of his coming. Even him whose coming is after the working of Satan, with all power and signs and lying wonders, miracles, okay? Pseudoscience, pretty much subverting the soul, just bringing everybody into a system of falsehood. All right, and then capitalizing off of the ignorance of the people and tricking them into believing he has a better system for them, which ultimately is going to be a mass enslavement, man. And see, he's deceived many of the people on the earth by the miracles which he's able to do. All right, and that can be found in Revelation the 13th chapter as well. Okay, so this is the man of sin being revealed. Okay, everything that we're witnessing, okay, is clearly the man of sin being revealed. Okay, and when you look at the people who are at the forefront of all of these plans, they're Edomites. Okay, yeah, you have other nations join with them, but who's the main nation of people you see at the forefront of these plans? Edomites. So let's hear her plan for the people. It says, let's ensure, okay, and this is Barbara Barsma, CEO of Rabble Carbon Bank. Okay, she advocates for a personal carbon wallet. Okay, it says, let's ensure every household or every citizen of the Netherlands receives a certain amount of carbon emission rights. Okay, and this is coming to America. All right, pretty soon you have to download a particular app. All right, at some point, in order for you to access your money, it's going to go digital. Okay, when it's all said and done, you won't be able to get gas. You won't be able to do anything without this particular kind of currency. Okay, which, we know what you're going to have to do eventually to access that currency. Okay, these digital wallets. Okay, but it's going to be linked to deeper than just you buying and selling. Ultimately, that's tracking your carbon footprint in the earth. Let's keep reading. Okay, this way we can ensure that we do not emit more than our yearly limit. See, you will have a yearly limit. Your emission rights will be stored in a carbon wallet. Your emission rights will be stored in a carbon wallet. So if I wanted to fly, I would buy some carbon emission rights from someone who can afford to fly. Okay, for example, this way, this poor person can earn some extra money. Right, so you have a poor person. I'm not going nowhere. I'm just going to stay right here. You can buy my, emission rights. Okay, and this will give you enough carbon emission, because when you fly on an airplane, okay, that emits, I forget the name of it, but that emits something that harms the earth. Okay, so if you're flying around the planet Earth, you're helping to harm the earth. We want to limit you flying around the planet Earth. So you're going to have a limit on your carbon emission. All right, which is a natural process. All right, us running up and down the street, working out, all of these things, having sex, eating food, all of these things emit, CO2. Anyway, it says, or if someone lives in a small house, he can sell his emission rights to someone who lives in a big house. That way, poor people can benefit from the green economy. That's her talking about it. So the writer of this article says, wow, quite something, isn't it? Let's pick it apart, and then look at how they're probably going to implement it. Well, what we're telling you as believers in Yahweh Bashim Yahushai is that John the Revelator in Revelation the 13th chapter saw this. Okay, we always bring it out, and people thought we would just, charagma. You got tired of hearing about the charagma. You had Israelite leaders screaming. I was like, that's a stupid thought. That's a stupid idea. This is dumb. Well, clearly, if you look at what John saw, okay, he saw that totalitarian government, okay, those global tyrants, okay, doing particular things, okay, and it was all created for you to what? Worship his image, bow the knee, all right. And this is where we, as you know, the prophets of Yahweh Bashim Yahshua are very important, because when you read Romans the 11th chapter, let's get it real quick. Romans the 11th chapter, in the 4th verse, it says, "But what saith the answer unto God unto him? I have reserved unto myself 7,000 men who have not bowed the knee to the image of Baal." Okay, and everything that we're witnessing, everything we're seeing, including the agenda that's being pushed on children, it all is surrounding Baal, which is ultimately Satan. Okay, undermining righteousness, man. And it's all through deception, playing on your flesh. Okay, which when they have control of all of the resources and you look up and you don't have nothing, okay, that will be a means for you to bow the knee. And again, what did they say? In order to enter into this new way, all right, there's going to be an oath that you have to take, all right, to Satan. And we're witnessing the laying grounds for that oath. All right, this is what we're telling you. But the Lord has what? He's set apart a certain amount of men. Okay, 7,000 just means complete. All right, and ultimately that's the 144,000. Okay, who have not bowed the knee to the image of Baal, meaning they're not going to bow. And when they're here in the planet Earth, they're going to be promoting and pushing our people. Okay, as you read Revelation the 14th chapter, the new song, they're going to be telling our people, warning about this, telling them, if you do this, if you bow to this man, if you're through. Okay, verse 5, even so at this present time, there is a remnant according to the election of grace. So if the water Yahweh Bashim Yahshua for that remnant, all right, and the mindset of the remnant is going to be against this plan that we read about in Revelation the 13th chapter, okay, where they're trying to get you to bow the knee and worship their image, okay, which their image has become a technological image, okay, and people have been pretty much wiggled into this system, okay, to where now all you do is rely on electronics and devices and things like that in order to live your everyday life. Okay, remember the cell phones were created first for the purpose of warfare. All right, you have particular I forget who it was or what side of the but they gave who they were fighting, they created these cell phones so that they can track them. Okay, a lot of people say that the Harakma itself is the cell phone. No, but it is entering us into that system. Everything is what? Gradualism. Okay, and with these cell phones now, they're going to be able to tell the people eventually you're going to have this app. Okay, this is the new bank. This is the new monetary system. This is the new, and most people are going to do it. Okay, you're going to have to eventually give your soul over to this system in order to live in the planet Earth. This is what John the Revelator saw in Revelation 13th chapter. Okay, verse 16, and he calls it all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive charagma in their right hand or in their foreheads, that no man might buy or sell save he that hath a charagma, or the name of the beast, or the number of his name. Okay, and the name of the beast is ultimately when you make an oath or make a covenant with a particular God, that God's name is put on you. When a woman marries a man, okay, she takes on his name. Okay, when you bow your knee to this image, you're ultimately taking on his name. Okay. And again, Hebrew Israelites and people like us, they plan on ultimately doing away with. They want to start over with a new a generation of GMO jakes that they can just control, track, and have, dominion over forever and ever and ever. So this is a very key point. Okay. And as it says in verse 18 in the NLT, wisdom is needed here. Okay. Wisdom is needed here in order for you to be able to link. Let one with understanding solve, all right, the meaning of this number of the beast, for this number of a man, and his number is chi-psi stigma, 666. All right. And we always show you, okay, we always show you chi-psi stigma. Okay. Chi, all right, is the first word in Christ. All right. Anointed. It's an X. All right. They're going to X out the anointed. Psi, when you go into it, it goes into, many different left-hand practices, magic, philosophies. All right. Cutting as well. All right. We have lessons on that. And then you have stigma. Now, to give you the understanding of what stigma is, okay, real quick. And that's funny that the psi is in the form of like a wiggly serpent. All right. But when you go to this, go to the Greek word for stigma, so you can see real quick. It's found in Galatians 6 and 17. That word marks. Okay. As, Paul, he suffered, and that was symbolic of the marks of Yahweh Shai, He was even, stoned, right? He physically bled. He was whipped, all kind of things for the word of Yahweh Bashem Shai. But that word, stigma, okay, within 666, you have chi-psi stigma. It says a mark pricked in or branded upon the body. To ancient Oriental usage, slaves and soldiers bore the name or the stamp of their master or commander, branded or pricked, cut into their bodies to indicate what master or general they belong to. Okay, now the way they're going to draw you into this system and make them your master is through the system of buying and selling and through having resources, all right, that you need in order to live on the planet Earth. This is why this is going to be called the hour of temptation. And many of you Israelites mocked. All right. I remember Apostle Tahar had put out a challenge or order that we do videos on the hour of temptation, right? And Deacon Asaph laughed. Oh, they talk about the hour of temptation has to do with no damn chip. Da, 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 da. Well, now you're getting ready to see why it was called the hour of temptation and why you should have warned of these things. Okay, they're setting up a system to where they're going to be your God. Okay, you are going to bow the knee. Okay, in reverence and make an oath. Okay, with them via this new system. Okay, it says, and there were even some devotees who stamped themselves in this way with the token of their gods. That's why you have brands and things like that. Well, the modern day brand is going to be a digital oil. All right. So let me go back to the article and let's read a little bit more. All right. So that's the plan. As you can see here, they want to limit, okay, your emission rights. Okay. It says, wow, quite something, isn't it? Let's pick apart and then look at how they will be globally implementing this plan. It says you could argue it's just another level of taxation which the globalists will take. I think it runs far deeper. When bankers start using expression like rights, poor people, and green economy, you can be sure that they are in envisaging a world for the elite. They don't give a fig about anyone else. Of course not. So in its most basic form, you will have no fun, okay, and it won't be allowed to travel anywhere. But don't worry, they will have the fun for you. This is nothing more than totalitarianism. So, Lucky, I'm out here in New York. I had to pause it. Bros woke up. Lord willing, you'll see me with the bishops or apostles. That's why I wasn't in the live show yesterday. But anyway, let's finish this up. It said, so in the most basic form, you will have no fun, and it won't be allowed to travel anywhere. But don't worry, the elites will have the fun for you. And this is why they have these particular systems set up. You know, even this. Check this out. I don't know if y'all saw it, but the Heathen Rage. Now this is off of Co2 Info. Let's see if I can get it to play. See if we can get it to load. Well, this is the future.
Saudi Arabia have just shocked the world. They have just announced their new city called The Line. The entire city will be stacked 500 meters high. That's higher than the Empire State Building. It will stretch 170 kilometers across the desert, meaning it would take around 40 hours to walk from one end to the other. The entire city will be encased in a mirrored glass wall. 9 million people are set to live in this Line city. There will be no cars in this city. Instead, they will use AI transportation systems. They say you can get anywhere in the city in less than 20 minutes. But this is going to be seriously weird. People's entire lives, their families, their homes, their work will all be in this one city. There will be hospitals, schools, shops, and everything you could think of in this city. It's believed the Line will have its first residents in 2030. But do you think...
You keep hearing this 2030 date. But this is what they want. You'll be stuck to these particular cities. Okay, and you won't have to leave out of the cities, which ultimately, while they're enjoying the world, you'll be stuck in these cities. And ultimately, they'll be able to govern and track everything you do. Okay, let's go back here. It said, this is nothing more than totalitarianism. It says, did I forget to mention that the Rabobank and Barsma are both in the WEF, the World Economic Forum, and we've been, covering, to the best of our ability, what they spoke of in Davos, Switzerland. It says, when most people think of carbon emissions and carbon footprints, they think it only refers to travel, fuel, gas, and electricity, all under the guise of emissions. I hate to break it to you guys, but this runs far deeper than that. Let me now introduce you to Doc Ono, a company you may have never heard of. The economy is a credit card insured by Klaus Schwab's WEF. Okay, and we can look at a little bit of this if it loads. If not, you can look it up and watch it on your own, but I'm gonna have to roll out in just a minute, so we'll try to get to the bottom line. But see, it ain't playing. It says, in May 2019, an article appeared on the WEF site called "This Credit Card Has a Carbon Emission Spending Limit." In the article, it says Swedish fintech company The Economy has launched a new credit card that monitors the carbon footprint of its customers and cuts off their spending when they hit their carbon max. Hold 1 second. Okay, it says the Swedish fintech company The Economy has launched a new credit card that monitors the carbon footprint of its customers and cuts off their spending when they hit their carbon max. Okay, it says it continues. The DO card tracks the CO2 emissions linked to purchases to calculate the carbon impact of every transaction. The aim is to encourage people to actively reduce their carbon footprint and demonstrate the impact that small changes can have on the environment. All right, you can keep reading more on that. So these are the plans these devils have, man, and MasterCard is a part of it. Okay. Yeah, and there's others who are down with these agendas. All right, these new credit cards that are tracked to carbon footprint. All right, the CO2 to save the earth, to save the world, man. Okay, It says, it seems like full-on surveillance and socialism to me. And you probably don't need me to tell you that by this stage that the Barclays is also a WEF member. Okay, this is MasterCard. It says we're teaming up with partners, Barclays, and so much to launch Climate FinTech Cards and Payments Challenge. Yada, yada, yada. Let's see what this...
I'm Brian Luciani, the head of RISE created by Barclays.
My name is Mattias Wikström. I'm the CEO and co-founder of Economy.
My name is Brennan Spellasy, the CEO of Patch.
My name is Sue Kelsey. I'm the global head of product at MasterCard, leading inclusive and sustainable digital economies.
Welcome to the Climate FinTech Cards and Payments Challenge. Advancing climate action with every transfer, payment, and card swipe.
At MasterCard, with almost 3 billion cardholders across the planet, there's enormous opportunity for impact, where people, economies, and the planet can all thrive.
From offsets as a reward to environmentally friendly e-commerce and blockchain experiences, we're looking forward to powering a wide range of products and features that unleash the green consumer.
This is an unprecedented opportunity to get your climate solutions visibility.
If you want to deliver impact at scale, come join us.
Can't wait to see you in New York.
And best of luck with your applications.
For the benefit of the world and the people on this planet, good luck with your application.
And a lot of people are going to fall for this, all right? But they're only telling you just a part of really what this is all about, you know? It says, let me paint a picture to you how it might play out. In Ireland, back in March of this year, all right, a particular man who is a Green Party paid a visit to a pub called Brewdog in Dublin. He showed an image of the menu, which had CO2, carbon dioxide labeling beside every food item on the menu, and asked the question, all right, will this influence what you order? All right, so they're going to have particular menus, and on the side of each item is going to be how much carbon it was emitted in getting this product to you. Oh, man. Yeah, the bro's getting a little loud. So, and, you know, we'll get into this, you know, Lord willing, in another lesson. And, you know, here it is. These devils are telling you the problem of the earth is the people, when you devils are the problem. Okay. And at the end of the day, as the scriptures say, the earth is defiled because of sin. Okay. And that's why the true NWO, all right, which is the throne of David being set up, is going to be the answer to the issues of the earth, man. Not, all right, technology and a global system to where you devils are the heads and everybody else is the tail, man. No. Isaiah 24:3 and 4, the earth mourneth and fadeth away. The world languishes and fadeth away. The haughty people of the earth do languish. The earth is also defiled under the inhabitants thereof, because they have transgressed the laws, breaking the ordinance, broken the everlasting covenant. See, the God's instructions have been violated. That's the true problem of the earth. Okay, it's not, all right, human beings traveling too far. It's not, you know, how much steak and chicken people eat. No, the condition of everything is the issue. All right, the way that this world has been operated and ran. So, Lord willing, we'll get into more of this in another lesson. Hopefully, y'all edified. Shalom.